I just want to make a clarification for the YouTubers. I don't want to be your friend. Don't email me questions. I don't want you to buy me dinner. I don't need a fucking lunch. I don't need a fucking coffee. Don't say hi to me in airports. I've said this for almost 25 years. If you need a friend, buy a motherfucking dog. Or go get a homeless, the kind of dogs that they're going to put down, and you go get them. Go get a dog. If you link fuck me and I accept you, it's not because I want to do a deal. So don't start fucking sending me messages. I don't care. You live or die. And I don't need, and I do not do business deals with anybody I didn't personally train in this fucking room. Well, not necessarily this room now, but train. They went through the QLA training. I don't give a fuck if I don't care if it was Bitcoin at a penny. Literally, I don't care. Or if it's a box that turns shit into gold. I don't care. So don't bother me. Okay. Now we got the death threats finally. Okay. Took a while. We were talking about, and we've talked about, and many of you, what's this? Every time I think about it, I can't find anything to scare me or whatever. I think of you're a fucking bald head. Anyway, last night we were casually chatting in the drawing room. This young man here, they asked me if I hunted anymore, and I said I don't hunt anymore. I haven't killed any animals, four-legged animals, in about 25 years. But he had gone wild boar hunting, and he killed it with a knife, which I can relate to because I have. And which is no matter how intense or well trained or six-pack. Where's Bill? Six-pack, 4% body fat. It's an adrenaline rush when you're jumping on the fucking thing with a knife. Right? Yep. He's just a little skinny shit. Take his picture. Make sure we got a picture of him. Little skinny shit. Recently graduated from university. Got out of school, right? Sorry, first came here as a student. Okay. And he was telling me how you do it with dogs. Of course, I understand that. And the dogs, slow them down. And some people, I'm going to get all kind of shit because this is savage. And the dogs basically slow the fucking beast down. Then you jump on the fucker. Okay? And and I didn't flip mine over because it was too big to flip over. But you flip him over, you grab him by the hind leg, you flip him over, and then you stab it as many times before he gores you with his tusk. And so there are things that you can do. Now, most of you in this room wouldn't do that. I'm not sure any of you would do it. Forget it's an animal. Forget all that shit, but you wouldn't do it because you don't have these. Because you can get hurt. And those tusks can go right through that fucking 6% body fat of yours and lay you open or cut you open like a fucking filleted fish. And I tell the story in the trophy room. For those of you that are doing the breakouts in the trophy room, there's a little teeny, like a little antelope thing which got horns about like this, and its head's about this big. And everybody says, how cute that little thing is. But that little thing killed the guy. Because when he was taking the picture, holding it by the horns like this, it wasn't dead. And with its hind legs, ripped the guy's belly open, kicking him, and all his guts fell out on the fucking floor. That cute little thing. So you can find things to do. So I was. And he validated something else, which I didn't need validation, about Usain Bolt, who throws up, he trained, He trained and trained, trained, had all these gold medals, and the last time he entered in the World Championships, he didn't win. He got a third place, and a couple of his buddies, apparently, guys that you trained with, were in that run with Usain Bolt in that 100 meters. And so I'm not the only one that knows of his training regimen. And so he was talking about his track coach, because he ran track in university, was, you didn't say he wasn't a nice person, but I mean, he wasn't a nice person. You don't get to be world class being a good guy. You don't get gold medals being a good guy or gal. That's what you don't understand. And I mean, for 25 fucking years almost, you look at me, you think that everybody's the Virgin Mary that gets the gold medal and stands on the podium at the fucking Olympics. Now you have a somewhat of an idea because you were married, or currently still are, to a real athlete. Unlike yourself. A real athlete, But guys, and on YouTube, you don't get to the top without being a ruthless cocksucker. It just doesn't happen. And you can call it whatever you want, but unless you toughen up, it ain't going to happen in the period of time that we set up. You can, Mr. Parliament back here, you can do it in 30, 35 years. Be fine. You'll be a grandfather and you'll leave your family, some generational wealth. But not in the short period of time. By definition, that means you have to make hard decisions. And it's like when I start my talks at the university, I'm not here to hurt your feelings, but I will. I'm not here to defame you, but I will. I'm not here to, say bad things about your ethnicity, but I will. And I go through this list of shit. And if I leave here and you like me, I did something wrong. I did something wrong. And the world-class coaches, nobody loves them. They respect them for the results they get. Like Marcus Bauer said, he says, I haven't been treated this way since, and he was on the Austrian ski team, arguably the greatest ski team. He said, I haven't been treated this poorly since my Austrian ski coach beated me. He can't say beated me. I mean, physically beated him. He said, I love it. So and the people that like masochistic shit do better at this. It's a simple fact. So here is one end of the continuum. Okay, and that's one of you that I'm choking. And then everybody's that way of the continuum. But the closer you are to this end of the continuum, the faster it's going to get done and the more money you're going to make. Create. That's just a flat motherfucking fact. And I make no excuses about it. And the reason why some of you guys that came to the seminar 2 years ago are doing deals now, that you should have done deals in 2 months, is because you're not at that end of the continuum. And you know it, don't you? Yes, Herman Goering over here. Yes. And you know it. But the good news, you come back for another, it used to be a dose of the clap, but you're coming back for another dose of Dan. And I asked, in my New Year message, I said, now, unclick me, deface me, when I put all those things. And of the 56,000 or 46,000, whatever I have, I got 87 people that either unsubscribed, did whatever, out of all those. So they don't want to do it. They don't like what I say, and they say I'm a ruthless beast, but they still want to read it, apparently. Because someplace down deep in the deep recesses of their heart, there's a blackness. Blackness meaning Darth Vader. And we're going to talk about the movie in a minute. I mean, because everybody's got it. What about the movie? Brian QLA Rose. Bill?
I thought it was well done.
No, I mean, it's fine. Brian, it doesn't make a shit well done. Okay? The message.
He wants his audience to like him. He wants his employees to like him. And he knows that that's holding him back on some level.
On all levels, not on some level. Oh yeah, at some level, if you say, yeah, the difference between being mediocre and being Elon Musk. I guess that could be considered some level. What else?
He's irritating.
He's irritating.
Whines.
Yeah. Okay.
He had a struggle. He really struggled with you accepting you, because you were so different from him, and he's a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve.
He's a weenie.
He was too embarrassed to admit that the money that he left behind is the reason everybody's after, and he should be after too, because with no money they can't get in anywhere at all anyway.
His for free model was a great model. I mean, for free, you get what you pay for, you know? You get what you pay for. And what else?
He fears you because he doesn't really understand what you're about.
Well, there's a lot of people that fall into that category.
It feels like the kind of back and forth in some ways is just to show for his audience that he's almost putting it on subconsciously. And it's getting in this way.
He relates, or no, I should say, his audience, and some of you came out of that stable, relate to him being weak. I mean, that you know, just as some people that come here, not too many, relate to the Darth Vader part. Me. And I told you last night, I don't think Darth Vader was such a tough guy. I mean, where I come from, he wouldn't have got past 13, 14 years old. He just wouldn't. Somebody would have put a cap in his ass fucking early on. I mean, he would have gotten the shit kicked out of him early on where I come from. I mean, I was lucky that I was the biggest guy in grammar school. Because I grew early, I guess. And then everybody else caught up with me. So, I mean, not too many people wanted to fight with me because I was the biggest kid in school. And all the little weenies used to come and, Danny, he's beating me up and hide behind me, literally. You know, if I had skirts, they'd be behind my skirt. And I'd say, this kid, now, if you want to fight somebody, listen, you and I, because this guy's just a weenie, I used to say. And but his audience relates to him. He's a good storyteller. And not many people know this, but he went to movie making school first when he left Wall Street. You know, he says from banker to broadcaster. Well, there was a little sidestep there where he learned how to make movies. He didn't stay there that long. I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, whatever it was. But that's where he got his fundamental, and that's where the seed was dropped about him wanting to make movies. But he's a good storyteller. He is. And he's a good interviewer. Yeah, Bill.
I think he wants to be liked. He doesn't have that, but he also realizes he won't get what he wants without your style. But then he also wants to be liked, and I think it's his tension of how.
Absolutely. You know.
I don't know. What was the fundamental conflict with charging money? He seemed really reluctant to make money.
Remember that chart? Money's dirty. Money's bad. Money's more. There's more. I mean. That's how he was raised. But he comes from he went to one of the most posh high schools in America. He lived, you know, I don't know where he lived. I mean, so they had money. It wasn't like they were broke. His dad is a super bright guy, went to Caltech, which is the West Coast version of MIT. His mom is successful. Apparently she still is. But somehow of course, in Wall Street, I mean, there's some ruthless fuckers. I mean, and you know, he made, you know, by normal standards, he made quite a bit of money. I mean, he wasn't making 20 million or 40 million or 200 million like a lot of the guys, that he knows and I know. But he has trouble with it. He has trouble with it, and but he gave the film away, which I applaud him for. We'll see what he does next. We haven't started promoting the film yet to our list. We're going to do this after Christmas. But the kids, so far, we haven't had any negative that I've seen. We've got some negative about you guys. You shouldn't be eating the shit candy, and what do you got, the fucking raghead? I mean, the same typical shit, I don't look at things that I don't like. See, I don't have the time. But I must have some, voodoo fix on people or something where even though they don't like me, they still watch me. I'm not sure I'm not sure that I want to know why, and I'm certainly not going to try to duplicate it. But Brian, that was his audience. That's his audience. And there's a lot of people, God knows, fuck. I mean, he has, 250 million views. I mean, some astronomical number of people that want to see that shit. Now, why would you see a guy that moves? I was telling you about the guy that moves and does all that. That and $2 buys you nothing. I don't understand that. I just don't. But I don't understand the six-pack guys either. And I don't understand the nutrition. I don't understand that. Six-pack, or you make them in the kitchen. It's what you eat, basically. You want a six-pack. It's nutrition, It's calories in, energy out. I mean, it's simple. Why podcast? But because people think that they're looking for a shortcut. They're looking for a gimmick. They're looking for a tip. They're looking for an easy way. And there is no easy way. I was just listening that Brazil is 50% African, the country. There's no black presenters on TV. There's almost no black journalists. And they talk about America, right? And they only gave up slavery in 1888. They were the last country in the free world to give up slavery. And they gave it up kicking and screaming. They thought slavery was good. Fuck. I'd have 15, 20 slaves in 1888. And so they were going, and they took pictures of all the newsrooms of the big, all white. They went presenter after presenter after, all white. And so now they're complaining, and this is falling out. If you think that shit falls on Trump's deaf ears, well, the last 3 or 4 presidents of Brazil have no ears. Because, they don't, so, that's the way it is. If you want something different, get white. Basically is what they tell everybody. So, but we focus on our problems like they're the only problems around. And they're just not. They're just not. But, okay, thank you, YouTube.